And you're on, just so you know. We're live.
Wait.
Okay, it's on.
The chat's on?
I'll try to once we get going.
Hi, I am Jane Esselstyn.
I'm Ann Esselstyn.
And I'm Brian Hart from the Esselstyn Foundation.
Hi.
Welcome.
I am Jane Esselstyn. Oh, we are having an echo. We are having an echo. Back and forth. Well, we are here tonight because this is one
I
of our
just put
most.
my potatoes ready for you.
Well, we are so excited about tonight because the Esselstyn Foundation is.
We're doing our favorite holiday sides, and we know that the holiday time is a time when it's very difficult, or it can be a challenge to sort of stay plant-based. And we want to show you some of our favorite recipes that get us through the holidays. And it's not even that we're suffering; these are incredible recipes that really get us fired up. So
They bring everybody to the dishes. Like some of these dishes are the ones that go the quickest.
And we dream about having them all year long.
And a lot of times you're trying to win over friends and family who maybe aren't so plant-based. And so these are some great recipes to do that. So without further ado, I'll get out of the way.
Oh,
Brian.
All right,
Shoot.
we're doing 4 of our favorite sides. These are actually more Thanksgiving focused. We have another event we're going to do with you guys in December that are going to be, I think it's December delicious desserts for the holidays. Ha, ha, ha. So tonight we're going to do 4 recipes. We're going to do mashed potatoes, mommy's mushroom gravy, kale bruschetta, and cranberry salsa, which
Those
is
are all amazing.
I mean, they're all so yummy. So the first thing we're going to start with, and we're going to have 2 things happening simultaneously, a little bit in the beginning, because I have to cook an onion down for the gravy, and then the mushrooms down for the gravy. And Anne has just cooked, so we can have them ready to work with. She has just
cooked the
now,
potatoes.
you boiled. You boiled. How many?
I got.
Oh, you'll talk about it. All right. I'm going to start my onion while she talks about it. Now, this is a dry pan, no oil at all. I'm going to put it on here, this is a portable burner for you guys. I put it on sort of medium-high heat, and I'm going to cook this onion. Where'd it go? I have an onion I've prepped, and I have 2 cloves of garlic I'm going to put in soon. So this is going to go in there. And take it away. What did you do with your
So, I have 6 Yukon Gold potatoes, and they're kind of this size or a tiny bit bigger. And I cut them up into kind of bite-sized pieces. You don't have to have it like that, but the reason I do that is that it cooks quite faster. And I literally just boil them until they are really, really soft. And then I get my potato masher. Oh, now the key thing is to use Yukon Gold potatoes because the skins of them are thin and you don't have to peel any potato. I mean, there's
water.
The thing is, in the potato, the best part to eat is the skin.
Eat the hide.
My grandfather used to have, in our family, he used to eat the skins and not the inside. He had good sense. So, because it's really nice to get a little
Leverage.
I am leveraging myself. And here I have this great masher, and I'm just going to mash these nicely cooked.
Right, can you see that? Side view?
Gold potatoes.
Look at that. They just smash up so easily when they're warm.
They
especially
really
when they're
smash
warm.
up easily. And now you're going to think I'm crazy, but this, and when they're kind of mashed, then I'm going to add nutritional yeast. Now, nutritional yeast gives them a butter and cream flavor.
Feel.
I mean, it's
But
a feel.
I want to talk about nutritional yeast for a second. Do you mind?
No? You're talking about nutritional yeast?
Yeah, I want to talk about nutritional yeast. You can get it in the store in a canister, or you can get it in the bullet bins. It is this wonderful flaky. It isn't like yeast. How you think about yeast, for breads and stuff.
It's actually
completely
grown
different.
on sugar cane, but it isn't sweet.
Yeah, it's sort of a bacteria. Anyway, it is kind of. I always say it's as if Parmesan cheese and fish food, because it's the texture of fish food, made it in a non-dairy universe. Look how
it's not very appealing.
I know, but
And it really makes such a difference in the
and it gets melty and creamy. It's yummy.
consistency. Yes, I mean, it's wonderful. So I'm gonna put about a tablespoon of nutritional yeast per potato. So this is about that, and I'm just dumping it in.
And I'm gonna add my garlic in, which is about 2 cloves of garlic to my 1 onion.
So now I'm just
And a little kiss of water.
pushing in my nutritional yeast into my sort of semi-mashed potatoes. Now clearly they need some liquid. So if you're hard up, you can use the potato water. But I am going to use,
Before you add that, can I tell what I'm adding? I have my 1 onion and the 2 cloves of garlic, 2 or 3, whatever you feel like. And I'm gonna add in here 12 ounces of mushrooms. And these are gonna cook down for a few minutes. So Ann, back to you.
remember, when you are making your mashed potatoes, always stand on a stool so you get good leverage. So nice. So
Can I mash for a second? Let me see how it feels. Can I see on the stool for a second?
Jane, you live on a stool because you're so tall. Don't.
I want,
Jane.
it'd be a good
Yeah, well, okay.
All
Okay.
right.
So this happens to be unsweetened almond milk. Use any alternative milk. Jane doesn't like
non-dairy.
non-dairy milk that you choose. But read any ingredients because we want to avoid added oil. And I'd say most of the non-dairy milks out there add oil. Rice milk adds oil. Cashew milks add oil. Many of the soy milks add oil. So read the ingredients. And I'm going to put in, and I can't give you an exact amount. It just kind of depends on when it gets to be the consistency that you like. And one of the things to remember is that nutritional yeast absorbs a lot of moisture. So
What's so nice about
you're going to need more milk than more non-dairy milk than you think. And I am now going to add a little rosemary. You could do this if you wish. This happens to be something.
Wait, can we review what's in here so far before you add that?
Potatoes and nutritional yeast.
Potatoes, nutritional yeast, and this is crushed rosemary.
This is
That's
crushed
all you have those 3. Oh no, you had some almond milk.
almond milk, and this is crushed rosemary. And Jane is having a very hard time. This is very smelly. Garlic. And I am going to add some freshly chopped garlic. I lost my garlic press. I really like a garlic press for this, so I spent some time trying to get it kind of tiny. And just add as much garlic as you like. Here, I think I've got about 3 cloves. And then I'm just going to keep mashing. Now, it's gotten a little bit too thick because it's had time to kind of absorb that nutritional yeast.
So do you need to add more?
So I'm going to add a little more.
So there's no real amount of fluid you're adding because you keep just adding this until it gets to the consistency you want, right?
And if you feel, oh my gosh, I've made them too runny, just wait a minute because they do absorb the liquid. And I tell you, these mashed potatoes are so good. And may I just comment that I love the little sort of yellow turn because these Yukon Gold are yellow. Don't use white potatoes because they will not, you can't.
People
Get the
sometimes
same
want to make mashed
deliciousness.
potatoes out of russet potatoes, which are just it's like sand in a little ball. I mean, they're so dry. They scream butter me. So Yukon Gold has the butter baked in, they say. And even white potatoes that are not russet. This is the way they can. They can be a little drier. So the yellow potatoes or the Yukon Gold, that's the winner. Okay, while Ann keeps adding fluid to get to that that sweet spot of consistency.
I think I'm about at the perfect spot for these potatoes when it's ready to receive this awesome mushroom gravy. Oh,
Okay, so the mushroom gravy.
so your potatoes can be horrible as long as they have the mushroom gravy. But
They are. We review slowly. We have that you've done 6 potatoes. You've cooked till soft, and then you added nutritional yeast
garlic,
and
rosemary,
almond milk.
almond milk.
And
Easy.
Then, and after the almond milk, what'd you add? Potatoes, nutrition yeast,
Now you're
almond milk.
totally.
I went in the order in which you added. I'm trying to.
It doesn't matter. You can do it in any order,
Okay,
really.
then say it again. Potatoes, nutritional yeast, almond milk, rosemary, garlic, and
Pepper.
pepper.
We forgot the pepper.
Oh, feed 5 folks. My favorite. Tell me when to stop. About 6 grinds. 6 grinds.
That looks pretty good.
Like
Yeah.
Pepper mill.
Oh, and let me tell you, if you make these and you have leftover potatoes, which I can't imagine, I absolutely love making potato pancakes with leftover mashed potatoes. And all you need to do is add some chia or flaxseed meal, and it helps hold them
All
together.
right, I need you to help me out here if you can for a second. Now here to my mushroom gravy. I've got 1 onion, some garlic, mashed potatoes. Sorry, 1 onion, garlic, and mushrooms. And I'm going to add 2 cups of vegetable broth. And I like to use any sort of vegetable broth, ideally one with no sodium. This broth we have here actually is a plant strong broth, and it is a sofrito. Are we doing mushroom one?
Oh, they look a little bit, these vegetable broths are made by Plant Strong. They are awesome.
But you can use any one.
But I love these because they have no added sodium,
Yeah.
which most all of them do out there. And they come in these 3, 4 flavors.
But in a little 2-cup servings, which is helpful sometimes. I have lots of bits of broth. Ooh. So I'm going to add some flour is a thickener that people add to their gravy. And I have an oat flour right here, but if I throw it in here, it's going to clump. So I'm going to have you, if you wouldn't mind stirring for me. Oh, Brian, can you see this? It blocks everything. Put it there. There's a camera. There you go.
I don't need that there.
I know, but the camera can see this here.
Well, I'll put this on the floor.
No, that's good right there. So can you stir that? This is a 2-cup serving, so I'm putting 2 in there. So we've got 2 tablespoons of
If you don't do
oat
this,
flour, and then we've got 2 tablespoons of miso.
if you don't do this, the flour tends to clump, and the soda and the miso, it just is a pain to have to.
If you don't do that, the
Spread it
miso could, some chunks of miso can hide like little pieces of hidden gum or something behind a mushroom, and then someone is eating and they have this big like wad of miso, which is really salty tasting. My husband loves it when he gets the miso clump. I do not love it. So anyway, stirring it up there in the broth is helpful to do ahead of time, so everything is universally sort of combined.
Gravy is one of the few places where it really does make a difference to have something with a little more sodium than you would in most other things.
Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of broth, maybe close to almost a cup now to this, and then is that ready to go in?
Ah, it's so beautifully smooth that it's just going to be perfect.
Okay. So in goes the miso, and we used oat flour. You can use whole wheat flour, doesn't matter, but I preferably not just a white flour. Okay, this is going to stir in, and as this cooks down a little bit, I'm going to add the last little bits, which is 2 tablespoons of tamari, which is or soy sauce. Tamari is a low sodium soy sauce, and it actually has no gluten, which we didn't know about. We're using it. All right, and then you're going to add black pepper to taste. I'm going to do the same sort of 3-4 grinds. with my big. That thing always reminds me of Jack and the Beanstalk because it's so big. I feel like I went to a giant's house, and that's why I have this huge thing. I'm gonna say fee, fi, fo, fum. We have a YouTube channel, and whenever we use it, I would say fee, fi, fo, fum. And this one guy's like, I keep looking for a fee, fi, fo, fum pepper mill, and I can't find it anywhere. I'm like, okay, where do I begin? It's not called a fee, fi, fo, fum pepper mill. A and B, I just call it that, and I don't know. And this is probably from my grandparents from the 19th century. And speaking of our YouTube channel, I'm not trying to make a shameless plug here on the foundation about it, but we just had a beautiful YouTube shoot for something that we wish we had done today for Thanksgiving sides. And it started on this board right here. This is this is a serving board. Plants only, of course, because dairy will curdle and meat will go rancid on this board. But what we did is we treated this kind of like a bowl or a casserole pan, and we put a layer of hummus, hickory smokehouse hummus. By the way, there's a YouTube link that we can send out in the chat. Is the chat working, you guys?
No.
Okay, we'll have this. We'll link it up in the YouTube somehow, or just go to YouTube under my name. You can find it. Anyway, we put a layer of hummus down, spread it out sort of beautifully, and then we added some shaved Brussels sprouts that had been broiled with a little balsamic vinegar on them for a few minutes. So that looked like this beautiful pan and then green. And then we added chunks of butternut squash that we cooked, and then some peas and some pomegranate seeds and some dried cherries and
Dried apricots.
And some greens, like sprouts kind of greens, and then drizzled it with microgreens, exactly. And then sprinkled it with balsamic vinegar glaze, and then served it on crackers and peppers, and it was so amazing. I wish next year we do this. That's going to be what we make, and a pair of scents. So just thank you for imagining right here. You can check it out on our YouTube if you're curious. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is smelling really good.
I think it's done. I think it's right done. Okay, I'm going to put this over on the stove and make some room. And will you show the bread we're going to use for the kale bruschetta? Our next thing we're going to make is the kale bruschetta.
Where shall I put this?
That's fine. I'm going to put it over there.
All right, this is a loaf of whole wheat, if I get. And I have the fun job of cutting this into little tiny slices.
And what are you going to do with them? Are you going to toast them?
Then I'm going to toast them. And Jane will tell you what's next, because what's next is really one of our favorite recipes, and it is such a beautiful holiday recipe. You're just not going to believe how gorgeous this is. And it always is just about the most popular thing that we make for our holiday party. It's gone in a flash. We can't make enough. So
so this is called kale bruschetta, and we use these little slices of whole wheat bread. If you can,
you don't have to.
If you can't find a baguette that's whole wheat like that,
Get any bread, whole grain bread,
just get a gnarly
and you
whole
can
grain.
cut it up and cut it in half, maybe if you.
Okay. So what we're going to make here is called walnut sauce. OMG walnut sauce. So we're going to add 1 cup of walnuts to our food processor, 2 cloves of garlic, and then we're going to add.
This is one of our oldest recipes,
It
and
is.
it turns out that in all of the many cookbooks that Jane and I and Jane and Rip and all have written, it always finds its way into one of them.
It does. When you make a cookbook, you're really supposed to. Oh, let me get back on screen here. When you make a cookbook, all the recipes are supposed to be new, but you get to have a carryover of about 5 to 10% of things that you kind of need for recipes. And OMG walnut sauce is in all of our books. 5 I've done, 3 she's done, all of them. So I'm combining the walnuts, the garlic, and the tamari, and it looks like mincemeat. That looks like nothing much, but and scratch the sides down here. Make sure all the yummy chunks of garlic and walnut are in the mix. And all we add next is water. And you won't believe what happens with our water. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. It turns white. So it turns from this like brown, chunky thing to this creamy, smooth sauce. It's just magical. And you guys didn't get us some Casa de Luz?
No.
Sunlight's good.
The toaster is doing very well.
Our toaster is on the skid.
It really makes a difference.
Having a toast. It is on.
A little toaster.
Our toaster's on life support. You have to have this thing wiggled a certain way, and you can only use that dial. And the same thing happened to our scanner today. I'm telling you, we've had a day. Anyway, back to the food. So this is the OMG walnut sauce. It is delicious, and it is. You can use this as a dressing if you just add a little more water, make it kind of, different consistency, or you can make it thick like hummus so it's spreadable, which is kind of how I've done it just now. So these are the two of the main building blocks for this recipe, the bread and the walnut sauce. So after this, what we're going to add, or what we have to prepare, toast the bread, make the walnut sauce, take a whole bunch of kale, like a whole head of kale, not a little one from the store, but like a big bushy one. I prefer curly kale. Like this is curly kale. It's got such texture and, as I often say, fibrous folds to it that it's kind of lovely. This is a different kind of kale. This is 1,000 head kale, and it's smooth. So when you cook this, it sort of becomes flat. And I really want to have the texture for what we're about to make, because you want to have kale be sort of in little small, what's a word? What's a good word for small bushes?
Shrubs.
Little shrubs, little shrubbery. Little manicured little bushes on top of each thing. Okay, are those ready? Yeah. They're gonna be ready. Because if we're not ready, here's the next thing we have to do. If not, okay. Some of them are ready. Okay,
Sort of.
Brian,
ready.
can you see my part of the screen here? Okay, so what we're gonna do is she's gonna put walnut sauce
On each little piece.
on each piece.
Thick. This could even be a little thicker.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And bread, walnut sauce, cooked kale, and here it is cooked. The whole head is cooked, and I have it in here. But what I want to show you is that we're going to have little beautiful tomatoes, but we cut the tomatoes, these little cherry tomatoes, and I cut them 99% in half, but keep them like this. So when they're on something, they look like that.
Bikini
Right.
cut.
I call it a bikini cut because it looks like the little top of a bikini. And that way they don't fall off of the Kale bruschetta. They actually sort of catamaran. What's the word I'm looking for?
Catamaran, cantilever.
What is the word I'm looking for?
Cannellini.
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 Cannellini, cantilever, catamaran. They can balance each other on each side. What word am I looking for? When you have
Cantilever, I guess.
as a cantilever,
Yeah.
when something balances something that's on a different angle. Anyway, they buttress each other. The bikini cut buttresses itself, left and right, side to side, like any good bikini cut. Okay, so Anne's got these ready to go. Oop, ready to go. I'm going to start putting kale on these and showing you what we mean by this bikini cut. So taking a little, so the curly kale, it's like a shrub. And you can puff it all up if you need to. And you put a whole bunch on each. When I have asked different places, different hotels or sort of conference places who have hosted events for us, when we say, oh, the kale bruschetta would be great, please do that. They somehow take one piece of kale and they go like this. And they call that kale bruschetta. No. We want to have the wee shrub of kale on top. A little small bush of kale. So it's almost hard to chew this in one bite because there's so much kale. But so be it. All right, so I'm just going to keep putting great heaps on top of each of them. And my mom and I do love on our street we live on has a holiday party, and my parents host it. So we have everybody bring food to the party, and our street is a bunch of omnivores, so we have all kinds of stuff that arrives. But the dish that's gone first every year at that holiday.
Look at these little bushy.
Shrubbery! Look at all the shrubbery!
Oh,
Is this everything? Or is there more in there?
well, we're behind. This is it.
We're
I
gonna-
have this much more, but it's not cut.
Okay, well then,
Hang on. That one does need a little pile more. We need to pile this.
okay. So
So I need to cut these.
here, we want to put the bikinis on?
Yeah.
They're cut. They're all cut. Just put the bikinis on. And then these are like jingle bells. Look like holly bushes. How the holly bushes have little red. And holly bushes only bloom,
Well,
I
what
think,
if you put it
this
this
time
way?
of year.
It doesn't look as good, does it?
No, people don't like the inside of a tomato as much as they like the outside. Her beautiful red curves, much more appealing.
Can you believe the
Well, let's have our audience vote. Do you guys prefer the inside of a tomato, or do you prefer the outside of a tomato?
Jimmy,
Visually.
we need them both together.
But visually, which one looks? Audience, could you vote?
I'd have to say the outside.
Outside?
We're still counting.
You're still counting if you like it.
Counting the votes.
Oh, what do you prefer, John?
Inside.
You like to see the inside.
Mhm.
My gosh. We are 50-50 here. So lay them out how you wish. We're going to put some.
Oh, no, let's not do doubles. It wrecks it.
Oh, okay.
They
I
look-
think it looks great.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So this, you'd think we're almost done because look how pretty that is.
the best is yet to come.
Because what happens next, Brian, is it here, Vass, you can see, or here? Where do you see it? Here?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
That's perfect. Okay. Now we take balsamic glaze. And when you get a balsamic glaze, make sure that you get a glaze that doesn't have any, and as Anne always says, read.
Ingredients, because you're going to be amazed at what they might add to your balsamic glaze.
Sometimes they add milk, fat and milk. I'm sorry, our toaster is wide open and on. Okay. All I can hear is it ticking. Okay, so now we go and you just put right before your guests are going to eat this. Don't do it too much ahead of time because the glaze absorbs. So just sprinkle this on top. Brian, can you see that nice thing? So every one of these gets a beautiful glaze on top. You can even try to do a star so you know you're getting layer upon layer on each of them. And
When I'm trying to choose which one I want to eat, it's the one with the most glaze.
And then after I finished doing the individual glazes, I always go like this. Oh, chefy, chefy, chefy me. So you can see those stripes. Right, you got that?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that looks so beautiful and completed. Okay, so we're gonna hide this up here. Can you still sort of see it?
Mhm.
Okay, our mashed potatoes and gravy are waiting over here. And the last thing we're gonna do.
And the most amazingly delicious thing you can
Okay,
ever
you said that
believe.
about everything we've made tonight.
Really?
Yeah, you have to get something.
Well, it's all good food.
It is all good. And the cranberry salsa came into our lives about 10 years ago or so. And we are so thankful because we don't just eat it around the holiday. We've got so many bags of frozen cranberries in our freezer because we like to make it year round. One time we did an Esselstyn Foundation event and we made cranberry salsa, you guys, in the summer. Do you remember that? Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And We were all just like this afterwards, eating it together. It's so bright and yummy and the perfect
In
complement.
fact, one of the things that we've done at our holiday parties is we make the cranberry salsa, and we get this giant loaf of pumpernickel bread. And people just love the cranberry salsa on the bread.
And what's the brand of veggie broth that you like so much?
Plant Strong. You can go on to
PlantStrongFoods.com.
plantstrongfoods.com and you can see all the, but Whole Foods right now, and I don't know the other stores, John, you can say, but Whole Foods has got a sale on it. And I just bought so many that my cart was almost tipping over.
It was, I was there with her. Okay, so we're gonna add about 12-ounce package of cranberries. I had a few rolling around. This one for some reason. I think Brian used it for make stuffing, which we're not making tonight, darn it. But I just added those in here because for good measure. And then you're gonna add in about 3 tablespoons of fresh lime juice. And this really brightens this thing up. It makes this just limes just elevate everything. That sounds like a fancy chefy word, but they do elevate and clarify dishes. Whatever that means. It just means it makes it taste so good and it's fancy. So make sure it's 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 1.5-ish. I squeeze so many limes. I feel comfortable measuring this visually. This is probably way more than 3, but we're going to take it because I added a few more cranberries. So you've got your cranberries, your lime juice, and
Now, do I get to put,
you get to put in what you.
I grew it. This is my little jalapeno. And isn't it adorable?
We've been waiting to use it for the right moment, and this is the right moment.
Jane, usually you take about half of a kind of normal size jalapeno. This one gets to go in
The whole thing. We're not going to
And
divide it.
We removed the
We see,
seeds.
and there's some dark texture in there. Is that all right?
I'm I'm sort of a little.
Okay, while she's preparing the jalapeno, I'm going to put in the 3 scallions, and these are 3 really big ones. Okie doke, and then cranberries are really
Amazingly sour. Amazing.
they're tart and or sour, whatever. And so we have to add in anywhere between a 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of maple syrup, and it really does the duty. Taste yours and see if it's the right. If you like it tartar, if you like it, can I have a clovelo, or do you got them all on me?
Oh, I clean it.
I got one for you.
Clean.
Thank you. In it all goes, and that's going to help measure, balance out all that tart sour stuff. If you want to go gently and pulse it, it'll have some texture to it. Or you grind it a lot like it's a relish. I kind of like it more relishy than, but not totally. Okay, can I have it? No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I want that. I want it. Okay, shoot. I wasn't looking. And I let it spin. Actually, this is great.
Oh, it's perfect.
You can see some chunks. There's a really, there's a huge piece of stem of scallion. It's a stallion. I gotta grind out the big stallion in there. I bet that got it. Okay, so now I think we're gonna get a plate out and we're gonna make 2 little plates of our mashed potatoes with gravy and cranberry salsa and a kale bruschetta. So here we go. Let's clear the deck so we can fit everything up here that we have. And 2 plates. And do you have, can you, okay. Yay! Mashed potatoes. Hang on. Ooh, I just put it aside. Yeah. There you go. Mashed potatoes with some gravy on those mashed
Put them
potatoes.
right on the top. You know, you gotta make a hole in the center.
Okay, you make yours. I'm making mine. And some cranberry
You always have
sauce.
to have a hole to put the gravy in.
Jingle, jingle. I'm off to the holiday party. Brian, how's that look? What do you want on yours?
Salsa.
You do you. You do you. So this is just a kind of a beginning to what we would want to have on our holiday table. If we had to add more to this, I would add
Stuffing.
I'd add stuffing for sure. We'd also have some
Fabulous salad.
green beans, some
Brussels
salads.
sprouts.
Oh, Brussels sprouts for sure. Fire up squash soup.
I love to make a huge platter of fresh vegetables with a dip in the center to have it available when people arrive so that they're kind of eating healthy things to begin with.
Speaking of arriving and people, I think we're about to depart, and I think we're about to have a taste while we depart. So before we leave, though, I want to also add we have a savory tofu recipe that we love, and we make some tofu triangles, which are kind of like slices of meat, if you would, like, and we serve it on a platter, kind of like you would a platter of cut meat. So it's endless. I mean,
Our centerpiece, did you tell, is Brian's amazing stuffing in a pumpkin.
Look, here's the pumpkin. We're saving this pumpkin for Thanksgiving Day, so we can carve it out and put extra stuffing in here. So people often say, "Oh, you poor plant-based people, what do you do on Thanksgiving?" And I'm like, we feast, because it is not about turkey. It's about the harvest and all the stuff you can feast on. And our whole family, every single person, all 28 of us this year, are bringing a different dish, and we all know that it's going to be plant-based parameters. We do have one sort of disgruntled nephew who's bringing a turkey that I know is going to sit there in the corner and get cold. But everyone's allowed to bring what they want to bring. All right. Well, we're gonna have a quick bite. Any questions that we need to answer, or anything that's John and Brian we should know about before we stuff our mouths? Okay, we're gonna stuff our mouths as we say goodbye.
Woo-hoo!
All right. Happy holidays. Bye-bye. That's good. Oh wow. All right.